Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news. Joining BJ Rains today is KTIK 95.3 FM The Ticket's Mike Prater. Listen to Idaho Sports Talk with Prater in the Ballgame. Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 95.3 FM The Ticket and online at KTIK.com. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now, here's Mike Prater and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, greetings, Boise State fans. Happy Thursday to you. I'm just so happy, Mike Prater, because I've been battling a horribly hoarse voice the last couple of days. I would say I'm at like 93%. I'm not quite there, but I actually am not embarrassed to talk right now, which is the case. Well, even when I don't have a hoarse voice, that's probably the case. But we got Mike Prater here for his weekly Thursday appearance. KTIK 95.3 The Ticket. You know him. You love him. You hear him daily 3 to 6 with JP, Johnny, Bob, the whole gang there on Idaho Sports Talk. And jam-packed show today, Mike. We got NFL draft starting tonight. We got a lot going on. It's going to be a fun weekend around Boise here.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolutely spectacular weekend. Love today. It's pretty cool. It's our favorite. It's certainly one of my favorite non-sporting event days. You know, a collision of college football and pro football, and can't wait to see what happens tonight. Can't wait to see what happens this weekend with all the Boise State guys.
You guys will be out and about the next couple of days. Before we dive into it, I'll give you a free plug here. Where are you guys going to be at the next couple of days?
Draft party today at Sockeye Ale House on 36th and Hill. We're giving away free beer for a year and tons of summer concert tickets. And then tomorrow at Western Proper in downtown Boise, it's the launch. It's the soft launch of the new Golden Ale, the Horseshoe Golden Ale beer that's going to support name, image, and likeness. The Horseshoe Collective, Joe Nickel and his group, and everybody's getting together with the Western Collective and Western Proper tomorrow, Friday at Western Proper downtown. We're going to talk about this beer. And then on Saturday at Western Collective, they're going to have the official launch party for the Boise State name, image, and likeness beer, the Horseshoe Golden Ale. Stop by and let's have a beer, BJ. I
don't know what JP was thinking, allowing you and Johnny to have two straight remotes where there's beer involved. We'll have to.
It's beer and football week at Idaho Sports Talk.
That last segment Friday at 5:45 could be an interesting one. Yeah, we'll have to.
I promise to behave. I know JP's on high alert, taking care of and making sure he keeps a close eye on Johnny.
Well, we don't have to worry tonight about any Boise State players going in the first round. It does always bring up great memories for me being at the draft with Leighton Vander Esch there at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium and being a part of that and seeing what it was like and being in the building when he got picked and interviewing him. So that every time on the day of the first round of the draft, it does bring back some memories for me. Tonight, we won't have to worry about that, but tomorrow night, we'll be on high alert to see if J.L. Skinner can go on day 2, whether or not he slips to day 3. I think we both agree, Mike, that J.L. Skinner is a lock to get picked at some point, which will be the 14th straight year a Boise State player gets picked in the draft, which for a group of 5 school is an unbelievable, remarkable stat that I don't think should be ignored. 14 straight years. And yes, there's 250 players, but still, that's a big deal, and that streak will continue. So I think you have some drama, with J.L. Skinner. Does he go tomorrow night, or does he linger until Saturday? He's got a group of family and friends here in Boise having a watch party. There's going to be some drama there tomorrow. I think back to guys like Riso Diambo, who I remember being the very last pick of the 3rd round a couple of years ago. Alexander Madison. There's some guys that there's some drama. Darian Thompson was a third-round pick, I believe, and there's not a huge difference when you think about it, third to fourth round in general, but it is with the way the draft is set up now, where the second and third round are on a Friday night, and then you got to wait till day 3 for rounds 4 through 7. But we'll get to the other guys in a second. With JL Skinner, what's your gut telling you? Does he go tomorrow night, or is he having to wait till Saturday?
I think he's going to go on Friday night. I wouldn't be surprised if he slipped in late second round. Third round certainly seems like a sweet landing spot for JL Skinner. But I think we're all accustomed around here. If he slips into that early morning fourth round on Saturday, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think that'll happen. If he had a chance to work out, and we all know he had that pec injury right before the combine, he hasn't been able to work out. And he's handled it really, really well. He gathered all the NFL personnel at Pro Day. We saw that, and he gathered them around and gave them a little speech and said, "I'm having surgery, and just check out my film. I'm the guy that wants to play football for you. Check out my film. I can play football, and when I get healthy, I'm ready to go to work." So I think he's handled it really, really well. But I think he's probably somewhere in the third round. That was my prediction. Third round for JL Skinner. That'd be pretty sweet.
I agree, and I do think it has hurt him, the fact that he couldn't work out. He is a physical specimen, as we all know, with his size. And so I do think that he would have helped himself tremendously if he had been able to go do all these private workouts and things like that. I know he's still meeting with some teams, but if you get JL Skinner on a football field and see him doing some things, I think that could have been a game changer for him. So how much does it hurt him? We'll see. I do agree with you. I've got a column up at BroncoNationNews.com ranking Boise State's NFL draft hopefuls. Could the Broncos get 4 drafted? We'll get to that, part of the title in a second. But I agree. I predict third round for JL Skinner. But as you said, we're used to the slides of the Shakirs and the Jay Ajayis, and it seems like every year Jeremy McNichols. It's pretty much
Weaver.
Yep, it's a yearly thing where a Boise State guy is still on the board, and it's like, how in the heck is this possible? And they're going to get a steal. And so if we look up and he's a 4th round pick, I wouldn't be shocked. But I think he's done enough in his career, and I think his measurables speak for themselves. I agree with you. 3rd round on JL Skinner. We'll get to the other 3 in just a second, but we're short on time, so I got to get a couple spots in here, Mike. The Cutwater Spirits Mobile Studios is where we're broadcasting from today. Check them out. More than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. Pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. And, Mike, there will be a whole sponsorship and a tasting station at the golf tournament for Cutwater Spirits. So you'll be getting to sample some Cutwater Spirits at the golf tournament on June 2nd. RowPaint.com, our a title sponsor. ROEPaint.com. They have the epoxy, 5 times stronger than epoxy, the concrete coatings, the one-day install, transform the look of your stained, ugly-looking concrete slab on your back patio, your garage, your basement. You can do it in one day at ROEPaint.com. We've had it done twice, and I highly recommend it. Lithia Ford of Boise, I recommend them as well because we purchased a vehicle from them. Look, couldn't have been an easier process. Found the couple vehicles online that we liked, went in, test drove them both, and picked the one in a couple hours. We were out the door with our new vehicle. So check them out, LithiaFordBoise.com, to view their full inventory of vehicles. And if you'd like, you can go ahead and have them buy your used vehicle, even if you don't want to buy from them. So they'll make you a cash offer on the spot there, LithiaFordBoise.com. And Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com, the best in mobile e-branch online banking. Do it now. More than 550,000 Idahoans have done. Make the switch today, Idaho Central Credit Union. Mike Prater, I think the intrigue really starts if you want to, there's some intrigue. Does Skinner go 3rd round or does he fall? But I think the list after that is even more intriguing. And a guy that I'm very interested to see what happens with him is Scott Matlock. He's a guy that I think going into last season we thought was a for sure draft pick. How high could he go? And then his stock kind of dipped during the season as his production dipped a little bit for various reasons. And then he did not get the combine invite. And I think we both probably said on this show and your show, that Scott Matlock probably isn't getting drafted when he didn't get the combine invite. And then he gets the 2 All-Star game invites, which is pretty rare to get invited to a second one after you played in the first one. And then he has an amazing showing at Pro Day with the 29 reps on the bench press, and a lot of his other numbers were very impressive. And then he ends up getting 5 visits to NFL teams, the Chargers, the Bengals, the Jaguars, the Patriots, and the Jets. Yes, he could be a teammate of Aaron Rodgers maybe, but he gets 5 visits. And now you see, Todd McShay yesterday had him as the number 10 ranked defensive tackle the entire draft in his ranking. So now I think his stock is as high as it's been. I have moved Scott Matlock to my 2nd likeliest pick to get drafted for Boise State. I think he's a lock to get drafted, and I've got him somewhere probably in the 4th or 5th round.
Ooh, boy, I wish I was that high on him. There's no doubt that the
You know
last
what?
2 or 3
You know what?
weeks
I lied to you. I lied to you. The readers at BroncoNationNews.com will see that the prediction says 6th round. So I've got,
Okay.
I wrote 6th round in my column, but 5th or 6th round. I think Scott Matlock's pretty safe though.
I predicted. I threw out a little tweet today. I predicted the 7th round, and up until 2 weeks ago, I would not have put him anywhere. Maybe a priority free agent. This is shaping up and developing to be the perfect Scott Matlock storm. Always doubting him, always having to prove, always being the underdog, always climbing out of a hole, and always performing every single day in life and in athletics with a chip on your shoulder. And he's done it. The pro day thing was amazing. He's climbed the ladder. We did a segment the other day on Idaho Sports Talk talking about the momentum of Scott Matlock. So he's definitely going to get a shot. And when Scott Matlock gets a shot, it usually works out. So I'm not going to go as far as you. I don't think he's a lock to get drafted. I think he's I hope he can slip into the 7th round. He's going to be, at least he's going to be a priority free agent, kind of like what Brett Rippon got, maybe some cash and a little bit of guaranteed money, and then certainly a chance to make the roster. He's going to be on a roster, and he's going to play football in the National Football League. But let's see what happens tomorrow or Saturday.
I think the 5 visits shows if they're using one of their 30 spots on a guy like him, I think there's enough interest from teams that I would be pretty surprised at this point if he doesn't get drafted personally. I think he's done enough, and I got 5th or 6th round for Scott Matlock, and what a cool story. He's overcome a lot of adversity, as everybody knows, both of his parents passing away, while he's in middle school and below, and going through the foster care and eventually getting sent out to a family in Homedale, getting adopted. Not sure if Boise State's going to offer him. He had a gray shirt offer, finally gets switched to a regular offer. He comes in and here he is doing what he's doing. I had a chance to catch up with Scott Matlock. This is a subscriber only interview that the link will be going out shortly to your email. If you're a paying subscriber of BNN, talked to Scott last night. Here's a quick bite on just how surreal it is that he's potentially about to be an NFL player.
No, it hasn't. It's just been such a crazy process, a fun process, new territory and new waters, I'm exploring, but it's been so fun and exciting. I haven't really had that moment where it's kind of hit you, you're like, oh crap kind of thing. So, if it happens, it happens. I mean, I'm excited regardless. I'm happy for, those who will be with me and enjoy that moment and whatnot. And I'm just, grateful to be in this position, and I'm very blessed to have these opportunities and stuff. So, but yeah, I'm excited.
Scott Matlock excited, and I think he has good things ahead for him. So looking forward to what happens with him. He's going to be here in town having a watch party with Crave Delivery and some food. I know he's excited about that. So again, good luck to Scott. We'll see what happens with him, and that interview is available for subscribers. It's coming to your email, the link, if you're a paying subscriber at BroncoNationNews.com. Okay, we got a couple minutes before Max Rice joins us here. Mike, who do you have next on your list? I've got John Ojukwu. I think John Ojukwu is going to get drafted. He's going to become the 6th straight multi-year starter at left tackle to keep the streak going for Boise State. I've got 6th round. I think John Ojukwu is 6th to 7th round, but I predicted officially 6th round for John Ojukwu.
I didn't go anywhere as far as Saturday. Somewhere on Saturday through before through the 7th round, the value of the offensive lineman, the value of the tackle, the left tackle, and what Ojukwu, he doesn't create a lot of buzz. There's not a lot of people talking about him, but everybody knows what he can do. Everybody knows about his feet. Everybody knows how he graded at Boise State. Because of the value of his position, I have him going ahead of Scott Matlock. I think John Ojukwu is a lock to go on Saturday. That's where I hope Scott Matlock also can join him on Saturday. So those are the only 3 players I have drafted: Skinner, Ojukwu, and Matlock. And I think Ojukwu is number 2 off the board for Boise State.
And I think I got a weird feeling Tyreek Jones sneaks into the 7th round. Just his size, some of the momentum that he got. He did get the combine invite, which I think is a big deal. I think Tyreek Jones sneaks into the 7th round, which would make it the most Boise State players drafted since 2012. 4 players. They've had 3 drafted a couple of times. They have not had 4 players drafted since I think it was 6 in 2012. So I think we agree it's going to be 3 or 4, Mike, right on that cusp. And I think I got a good feeling about Tyreek Jones. I think he sneaks in there, man.
Well, Tyreek Jones has always been my guy. As a matter of fact, at one point, I thought Tyreek Jones, before the season even started, would have a more productive final season than JL Skinner. I was high on Tyreek Jones, and I still am. The combine thing was certainly a validation for what he's done in his career. 70%, exactly 70% of every Boise State player that's gone to the NFL combine over the years, and that's about 55 total players, have been drafted. I think he's one of the 30% that doesn't, but he gets that priority free agent. They're going to give him a couple of years, maybe a couple $100,000, and he's going to get a chance. But I don't think Tyreek Jones gets drafted.
Well, we'll see. I think it's going to be exciting. I hope he sneaks in there. I think he does. I've got 7th round for him. And then the other guys, George Tarlas, Caleb Biggers, Tyreek LaBeouf. I've got all them getting non-drafted free agent deals. I've talked to a couple talent evaluators from NFL teams that even though he doesn't have the on-field production, they really like the measurables Tyreek LaBeouf has. I think he's at least going to get into a camp, some sort of deal. Biggers and Tarlas as well. And then you go down with Ezekiel Noah. I think maybe he gets a mini camp tryout just because of his what he can do on special teams and some of his stats. I think somebody gives at least Zeke Noah a mini camp tryout, but I don't see anything for DeAndre Pierce. Maybe a mini camp tryout because of his dad's name and the family lineage there. But Divine Obacheri, Kurt Raftal, I don't think get a sniff at anything. What do you make of the other guys other than the 4?
Yeah, I got Biggers as a traditional undrafted free agent and getting that contract. And then I got LaBeouf, I got Noah, and I got Tarlas all getting those tryouts, coming in for a weekend and seeing if you can make the roster. Not the roster, a free agent camp. It's just a tryout for a weekend as part of those mini camps, and he sticks around. So I think Tarlas, Noah, and LaBeouf get tryouts. I think Biggers gets a traditional free agent deal, and I think Tyreek Jones gets the priority free agent deal.
Hey, Max Rice going to join us in just a second, but first want to tell you about Transportation Compliance Service. Check them out, transcomservice.com. If you're looking for a new job, whether it's the big rig on the screen, the Amazon truck in your neighborhood, or any delivery service in between, Transportation Compliance Service can help you out. Get out there towing that first load in no time. Check them out, transcomservice.com. You need some new gear? How about the blueandorange.store.com? They got free shipping, any order over $40. If you're in the Boise area, you can go check them out at the Boise Town Square Mall. All the NIL shirts, all the coaches' sideline apparel. Check them out, the Blue and Orange Store, the blueandorangestore.com. You need a dentist? How about Boise Dentistry Co.? BoiseDentistryCo.com. 5 locations across the Treasure Valley. Check them out. Find a location near you. Full family dentistry. They make it an enjoyable experience to go to the dentist at BoiseDentistryCo.com. Ridley's Family Markets. Shop Ridley's.com. 13 Idaho locations. A big supporter of the Ridley family. Ridley's Family Markets. Check them out. And now you will not be disappointed. You can download that app as well and get exclusive savings at shopridleys.com. UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. They can write business policy insurance in 44 states around the country. Check them out. UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. They make business insurance easy. And our friend Matt Bauscher just celebrated a birthday the other day. Number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley yet again is Matt Bauscher. Check him out, BauscherRealEstate.com. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Check him out, BauscherRealEstate.com. Okay, Prater, Max Rice is back screen. So do you want to give a comment that he cannot respond to about Max Rice, or should we just bring him, or should we just go straight to him here?
Max Rice, let's see. Max Rice is not going to get drafted in the NFL draft this weekend. How about we put that out there?
that would be that's a good call. Max joins us right now. We appreciate it, Max. How's it going, man?
Hey, I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for going easy on me, Prater.
Where's the visual of Max Rice? You got 2 ugly dudes on the screen right now. I can't see Max. There he is. There's Max Rice. Finally pretty up the screen a little bit.
I know you're a big football guy, Max. We're talking NFL draft. I know you know these Boise State guys pretty well. Is it a fun time for you other athletes and stuff too to see where guys like J.L. Skinner and Scott Matlock and all these guys are going to go?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I saw we were with a bunch of the football guys the other day at that award thing. I'm sure those guys were off doing draft stuff, but yeah, I always look forward to the drafts, especially when a bunch of Boise State guys are in it. So I'm really excited to see where all those guys go. I know there could be a lot of them this year, so I'm really excited for that.
What's it like for you these days? We saw you going to a couple camps and done some things in the community. I know you're trying to finish up school, but how much time did you take off? Or are you still taking time off from the end of the season? And what's it been like kind of trying to decompress a little bit from another long grind?
Yeah, it's weird knowing that I'm coming back another year. Just sometimes it just feels like I'm living in a loop a little bit. So I'm kind of at that point in my career where I'm trying new things. I'm trying Pilates for the first time. That's how I know I'm getting old, kind of, because it's just me and a bunch of 50-year-old women in there. But just different things to try to help my body. But I definitely feel like the old head around campus, especially on this team. I know Prater can probably relate to that. He's kind of the old head over there in that deal. But yeah,
fair.
Just trying to do new things to just keep it fresh and really looking forward to next year already.
Hey, Max, I was going to ask you, so much was made about it. We don't like to dive into players' health, but so much was made during the season about your herniated disc in your back. I think at one point there was speculation that there'd have to be maybe some kind of procedure. Are you doing any kind of procedure, or are you just kind of going through the Pilates and maybe more the natural healing way?
Well, one of the doctors told me that like 9 out of 10 of the type of herniated disc that I have can heal on their own. So my goal was to try to go the route where I'd strengthen my core and stuff like that to take pressure off my back. And that's worked really well. I'd say this is the healthiest I've been since I did that and early in the season last year. So
nice.
It's coming along really well. And Pilates is actually really helping me. So
you mentioned, you're actually back for another year. I mean, why'd you go? I know that you had to be political at the time, I guess. Why'd you go through the senior day stuff? That just seemed kind of odd. Was there any actual thought that, I don't know, your dad was going to leave for a different job, or you were going to go on an NIL deal somewhere else, or what was kind of behind it? Because I know Abu did it, I think, but there's been other guys that didn't, like Milner and Najee and stuff. So what was kind of the thought process between going through senior night?
Yeah, I didn't really want to do it, but I felt like it might have been a good way to make more money coming back just because, he might leave. I don't know. But I mean, at the end of the day, it worked out just because of how that game kind of went down. But I think, I didn't really want to do it, to be honest. And then when they announced my name, they were like, and he's coming back next year. And I was like, all right, this was pointless for me. But it all worked out. So I don't want to change anything that happened that night.
I didn't hear that part. That's funny. Has it worked out for you? I mean, what are your opportunities out there, and how are you handling NIL? And do you have any kind of like agent helping you with that, or what's that process been like for you trying to maximize your earnings here for your last season?
Oh yeah, it's definitely paid off for me. The COVID year 100% paid off for me on an NIL basis and that kind of stuff. And the coaches took care of me, which is really nice to be appreciated like that. And it's also awesome that I get to end my career where I started it. I feel like that's really rare these days. And I'm just really excited to get after it another year and do things this program's still never done before. So I got things I can look forward to. And that kind of keeps me going every day and pushes me to be better. But on an NIL side, I think it's definitely going to be worth it for me. And I'm talking to some local businesses around Boise already for next year. And I got some deals coming in. And so it's going to be worth it for me, which is awesome.
Max, there are certain times where I really would love to be a fly on the wall and be behind the scenes. And as the coaching staff rebuilds this roster and adds new names and really does some nice things in this offseason, how much are players, the leaders on this team like you and Tyson and Abuzo, how much are you guys involved? Do you read the press releases like we do, or are you engaged as a family in conversations behind the scenes? And maybe these kids come in for tryouts and you give your feedback. How much are the players involved with this roster transition?
I would say I'm probably more involved than others just because I've been around so long and I've seen it. And sometimes when we have dudes on visits, Leon will ask me, what do you think of this guy? We bounce ideas off each other. And I think we've done that a couple times with guys that have come in this year. And obviously you've seen kind of the talent level we're at right now. We've got a lot of great dudes coming in, and I think it'll be one of our more talented teams from top to bottom. I think we have around 18 guys. It feels like just this roster is really big, and I think it's going to be the most talented team we've ever had.
I got to ask you, Max, and it sounds like it's not going to happen now, so it's kind of a moot point, but there was a big debate about your scholarship and your dad's ability to, potentially use that trump card for another player on the roster, and there was a lot of debates, even from Mike Prater, about, your mental state on whether or not you were a, quote, walk-on or scholarship player and what that would mean to you and your family and all that. Where did you guys ever discuss that, and was that something that you would have to decide to do, or how did that ever go as a family, or was that never ever an option at any point?
I mean, from what I saw, I know people were like, yeah, it saves Leon, or it'll only cost Leon this much, but it would take away $25,000 away from me just from stipends every month or whatever. So
yeah.
I mean, I feel like I've earned the scholarship at this point. I mean, a program only needs, I feel like, so many you don't need to play 15 dudes. So, I mean, at this point, I don't think I would need to give one up. But if it came down to us getting a really big player that we 100% needed, yeah, sure, I would think about it. But I don't think that's the case at this point, and it's not going to happen. So
You're happy to hear that, right, Mike Prater?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I said. I wouldn't give that up. I think Max is earned, and I'm not saying that because he's right here. I said this on the show several times that Max has earned the right to have this scholarship, and he should keep this scholarship. And there's plenty of other ways to do the math. And just because his last name is the same as the head coach, I don't buy that. So Max, hold on to that scholarship. You've earned it, dude, and you've gone through a lot of crap, and you've got yourself into a magical point in your career, and keep it up. I think that scholarship is very, very important, not only for the psyche of this roster, but for the psyche of what you do on a basketball court for 30 nights a year.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And people forget I wasn't even on scholarship the first year or two. I can't remember how long, but it's not like I just got it handed to me. So I did feel like I earned it. Yeah.
Do you think the coaching staff is done? Is this roster, I don't want to say complete because it's never complete, but at this point, do you think it's done?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's good to know who you're going to play with at some point. We get in the gym and start working. So, like you said, you never really know. There might be some last minute adjustments here and there, but as of right now, I think we have enough to do really, really good things as a program. So, but at this point, I think it's just time to develop people and start getting ready for the next season.
Max Rice joining us for a couple more minutes here on Bronco Nation News Live. Mike Prater's here. My name is BJ Rains. And Max, last year, what you did last year from three-point range, making over 73s, shooting over 40%, some of those games where you were, having those magical runs like the San Diego State game and stuff. I mean, what did that do for you, I guess, just to have that kind of year? And I don't want to say to validate anything because you had obviously a strong year the year before, but just to have the year you did become that, show that you're one of the top players in the Mountain West. What did last year do for you, I guess, confidence wise, and just how much fun was last year for you personally?
Yeah, I always knew I could produce like that. There's a big difference between knowing you can do it and actually doing it in this league. So it was a big step for me. I think I was closer than a lot of people thought the year before. I think I was averaging double digits in the middle of conference the year before, and then we added Dinaire and a couple other pieces. And sometimes you can get lost in the shuffle, and that's kind of what happened that year. But I was shooting a really high percentage the year before, I think 44%, and then went on that little decline. But just to be able to get the confidence back, and I know next year I'm going to be going in with the most confidence I've ever had. And if I can cut out I take some crazy threes. So if I can cut some of those out, I think I can get my percentage up to 45, maybe higher. But
I've never mentioned anything about those crazy threes, but yeah, you have a tendency. I think that's where I called you the Brett Favre of Boise State's basketball roster, just throwing some things up every now and then. But a lot of times it works, and that's your game, and you have to stick with your game. Within that game, though, where do you want to get better next season?
Yeah, I think a couple different places I could get better is maybe just kind of what you talked about a little bit. When I make one, I feel like they're all going in, but I think it's a matter of finding maybe the best shot for me. I don't have to really force anything, especially with the talent coming in on this team. So I think you saw a little bit of it against Nevada at home this year, where even if I'm making shots, I can still get other people involved and stay super efficient. So that's probably going to be my biggest thing I'm going to be working on, just staying efficient and not taking too many crazy ones, and obviously trying to improve my defense always. I think that's huge for our success. So kind of those three things are what I'm going to work on.
Are you coming for Justinian Jessup's record? I mean, 98 threes, the single season record. You had like 75 or 76 last year. Any chance that you're gonna try to get 100 threes this year?
Yeah, if we do the things I think we can do, hopefully we get 5 or 6 more games than what he got that year. So I think right around that range is what my goal is for sure. And I think I could be close to that for sure. But I feel like I made a lot last year, and I only made 70 something.
76, I think, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, my goal is definitely 80s, 90s next year, and do it efficiently. So yeah.
Well, final thing for me, and then I'll give Prater the final question. But what just in general, when you heard Leon mention the word super team right after the loss to Northwestern, I don't know what your thoughts were on that, but just with what Mike kind of asked you about the players you've added, Roddy Anderson and Omar Stanley and Cam Martin, and the guys you have coming back in the freshman class. I mean, where does the talent level on this roster for you in your 5-6 years here? Is this the most talented team you've been a part of, and how excited are you? And what are the how high is the sky and the limit for this team going in next season?
I think it's probably the deepest, most talented team I've since I've been here that we've had, just because you see guys who have actually produced at other levels. You got Cam Martin, who averaged 22-11 at a JUCO or whatever, and that's super hard to do. So if he can get to that level, which we all know he can, he was just plagued by a couple injuries last year. And then Omar Stanley, he's proven it at the Big East stage, and there's some big, strong dudes in that league. So if he can come down here and do sort of what Najee did and even more, I could see just because of his size, he's massive. And then we got Roddy Anderson, all those dudes coming in and developing Kobe and Keen, and Jace is going to be better. I just think when you look at it from top to bottom, it's just a ton of potential, and we just got to come together as a team now, just because we got so many new moving parts. And I think that's another big thing I want to really work on is getting the team ready for those first games, because I know we've had 2 seasons in a row where I'm like, God, I wish we could have that one back, and I'm not going to let that happen again next year.
Come on, Max. Screw the basketball questions. I want to talk about your summer vacation. And, I know you and I like to needle each other a little bit, go back and forth, but I've always thought you were a really cool customer. It's good to be Max Rice in Boise, Idaho right now. What are your plans for this summer to get away from basketball, to recharge, refresh? Vacations here, lots of golf, laying low, playing in the water. What do you do this summer?
Yeah, I got a couple vacations coming up before I really get back into it. So I'm going to Arizona to hang out with Tommy Lloyd's kids.
Nice.
Yeah, so just get some sun down there, maybe play some golf, swim, maybe watch some basketball or some NBA. But so I got that going, and then I'm going to Maui with Coach Few and his kids a week after that. So
Sweet.
A couple of trips here to get my mind right, and then I'll be back for the grind of the summer and to be ready for next season.
Well, we appreciate it, Max. We always appreciate the time you jumping on. We had Buzo on yesterday. We'll have Tyson on tomorrow. We're kind of catching up with you guys to kind of put to bed last season and kind of turn the page towards the summer. So continued health, good health and get healthy and best of luck this summer and everything. And we'll be talking to you soon, man.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
There he is. He got the Phil Beckner shirt on, by the way, right? The Be Better.
Phil Beckner.
There you go. Hey, we appreciate it, Max. There he is, Max Rice, Prater. Always enjoy talking to Max.
I always really enjoy talking to Max. So when you sent me that text last night that said Max is on the show tomorrow, I got a big old smile on my face. So back and forth, and I really enjoy my conversations with that dude.
Most of the time, I feel like it's kind of a sarcastic thing when I tell you what we have coming up on the show when you say you're excited. But I could tell in that text that you actually were legitimately excited to have Max coming on. So
I do like talking to Max. I love talking to Max.
Well, appreciate it, Mike. Thanks to JP for getting us on, and hope everybody enjoyed the show today. Again, where are you going to be at today, Prater?
We're going to be at Sockeye Ale House, 36th and Hill Road, our KTIK draft party. We're going to pass out ballots, and somebody's going to win free beer for an entire year.
Can't wait for that. So appreciate it, Mike. We'll see you 3 to 6 today, and I hope everybody enjoys listening to that and go down and see them. And then tomorrow as well. I'll have Jay Tuss 9 a.m. tomorrow, Bronco Nation News Live. Go subscribe and watch the Scott Matlock interview, and I hope you have a good day. First round of the draft tonight. Enjoy it. We'll be back tomorrow. Bronco Nation News Live, Bronco Nation News.